Welcome to the channel, where today we're diving headfirst into a mystery that could turn a single penny in your pocket into a fortune worth hundreds of millions. Yes, you heard that right, a penny, that humble copper coin you barely glance at, might just be the key to unimaginable wealth, but only if it's the right one. The fabled 1982 1 cent, a coin so rare, so shrouded in intrigue, that it's been valued at a staggering $23 million, and you're probably wondering, how could a single cent, something you'd toss into a wishing well without a second thought, become the holy grail of numismatics, a treasure that has collectors, historians, and treasure hunters losing sleep, chasing whispers of its existence across decades? And what if I told you its value isn't just about money, but about a perfect storm of human error, government secrecy, and a series of jaw-dropping events that sound like they belong in a Hollywood thriller? Let's start at the beginning. In 1982, a year that seemed ordinary, with Ronald Reagan in the White House, captivating moviegoers, and the U.S. Mint churning out billions of pennies, but something went terribly, gloriously wrong in the minting rooms of Philadelphia and Denver, a mistake so subtle yet so monumental that it created a coin unlike any other, a coin that shouldn't exist. And the question that haunts every collector is, was it an accident, or was it something more, a covert experiment, a rogue employee's rebellion, or just a fluke that slipped through the cracks of a bureaucratic machine? The 1982 1 cent, you see, wasn't just any penny. It was struck during a transitional year when the mint was switching from copper to zinc cores, a cost-saving move driven by skyrocketing copper prices. But in the chaos of this changeover, a handful of pennies were minted on the wrong planchets, those blank metal discs that become coins. And these weren't just any planchets, but rare copper ones meant for an earlier era, creating a coin so scarce that finding one is like stumbling upon a lost Picasso in your attic. And the stakes get higher when you realize only a few of these copper 1982 pennies are known to exist, each one a needle in a haystack of billions. But what makes them worth $23 million? It's not just the metal, it's the story, the obsession, the whispers of coins lost in circulation, sitting in someone's change jar, waiting to be discovered. And the numismatic world is buzzing with tales of collectors who've spent lifetimes hunting these elusive treasures, like the story of a man in Ohio who found one in a roll of pennies at a gas station, only to realize years later it was worth more than his house, his car, and his entire life savings combined. But then there's the darker side, the theories that keep you up at night. Did the mint know about these errors and try to cover them up, destroying evidence? Or were these coins smuggled out by insiders who knew their value? The plot thickens when you consider the 1982 D small date copper penny, a variant so rare that experts debate whether it even exists, with only one confirmed specimen ever surfacing, sold at auction for a mind-blowing $23 million, and the buyer, a shadowy figure whose identity remains a mystery, fueling speculation about who would pay such a price for a single cent. Was it a billionaire collector, a museum, or someone with a deeper connection to the coin's origins? The mint's records from 1982 are frustratingly vague, with no clear explanation for how these errors slipped through, and numismatists have spent decades piecing together clues, analyzing die marks, weight variations, and microscopic imperfections, each detail a breadcrumb and a trail that leads to more questions than answers, like why some of these coins show signs of being struck multiple times, as if the mint was testing something it didn't want anyone to know about. And then there's the legend of the lost hoard, a rumored batch of these copper pennies hidden away by a mint employee who vanished in the 1980s, never to be seen again, leaving behind only whispers of a stash worth billions if it ever surfaces. Collectors live for these stories, their passion bordering on madness, with some spending every waking hour scouring coin rolls, flea markets, and even digging through old bank vaults, driven by the dream of finding the next $23 million penny. And the emotional weight of their quest is palpable. Imagine holding a coin that could change your life forever, but also knowing that one wrong move, one moment of carelessness, could mean losing it to history. The 1982 penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of human ambition, error, and the relentless pursuit of the impossible. And the twists keep coming. Consider the 1982 no mint mark penny, another anomaly where the mint's identifying letter was mysteriously absent, sparking debates about whether it was intentional or just another slip-up in a year plagued by them. And experts like those at the Professional Coin Grading Service have called these coins the unicorns of numismatics, with each discovery rewriting the rules of what's possible. The government's role in all this is murky at best. Some say the mint quietly recalled these error coins, melting them down to erase their mistake, but a few slipped through, hidden in plain sight, and every so often, a new one surfaces, like the 1982 penny found in a child's piggy bank in 2019, which sold for millions and left the numismatic world reeling, wondering how many more are out there, waiting in vending machines, parking meters, or even your own pocket. The emotional pull of this mystery is undeniable. Each coin is a time capsule, a piece of 1982 frozen in copper, carrying the hopes, mistakes, and dreams of everyone who's ever touched it. And the collectors who chase them aren't just after money, they're after a piece of history, a chance to hold something that defies the odds, something that shouldn't exist but does, and the suspense builds with every story, like the one about a woman who inherited a jar of pennies from her grandfather, only to discover one was a 1982 copper error, turning her grief into a life-changing windfall, but also a burden, as she faced threats from shady dealers and collectors desperate to claim it. The 1982 penny's value isn't just in its rarity, it's in the questions it raises, the secrets it holds, and the way it makes you wonder if you're one coin away from rewriting your own story. And as we speak, there are people out there right now, sifting through change, chasing the dream of finding the next $23 million penny, and you can't help but ask yourself, could it be you? The history of this coin is a roller coaster of human error, obsession, and sheer luck, with each new discovery adding another layer to the legend, like the 1982 penny found in a Las Vegas slot machine, overlooked for years until a sharp-eyed collector spotted it, sparking a bidding war that made headlines worldwide, and the numismatic community is still buzzing with theories about how many more are out there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice their subtle differences. A slightly off weight, a glint of copper where zinc should be, a date that doesn't quite match the rest. The 1982 1 cent is a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest secrets, and its $23 million price tag isn't just about money, it's about the thrill of the chase, the rush of discovery, and the tantalizing possibility that the next coin you pick up could be the one that changes everything. So check your pockets, your piggy banks, your old coffee cans, because the 1982 penny isn't just a coin, it's a mystery, a treasure, and a dream worth $23 million, and the question remains, will you be the one to find the next one, or will it slip through your fingers, lost to history forever? Next, imagine picking up a penny from the sidewalk, a coin so ordinary you'd toss it into a jar without a second glance. But what if that single cent in your pocket was worth $15 million, a fortune hidden in plain sight? And what if a tiny mistake at the US Mint turned it into the most valuable coin ever struck, a treasure so rare it sparked a global frenzy among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters, all chasing the elusive 2003 1 cent, a coin shrouded in mystery, obsession, and jaw-dropping twists that make it feel like you're unraveling a heist movie where the prize is a penny? Let's dive into 2003, a year when the world was gripped by the Iraq War, the Human Genome Project was completed, and the US Mint was quietly producing billions of pennies, but something went catastrophically, gloriously wrong in the minting process, a glitch so subtle yet so profound that it birthed a coin that defies logic, valued at $15 million, and the question that keeps you awake at night is, was this a simple error, a government cover-up, or something even stranger, like a deliberate act by a rogue minter who knew they were creating a legend? The 2003 1 cent, you see, wasn't just any penny, it was struck during a period of intense scrutiny at the mint, when new anti-counterfeiting measures were being tested, and in the chaos of these experiments, a handful of pennies were minted on experimental planchets, those blank metal discs that form coins. But these weren't ordinary zinc or copper planchets, they were a rare alloy, possibly a secret test batch, with a composition so unique that experts still debate its origins, and finding one is like discovering a lost artifact from a forgotten civilization. But what drives its value to $15 million? It's not just the metal, it's the story, the rarity, the whispers of coins lost in circulation, sitting in a child's piggy bank or a vending machine, waiting to be found. And the numismatic world is alive with tales of collectors who've turned their lives upside down chasing these pennies, like the story of a woman in Texas who found one in a laundromat change machine, only to learn it was worth more than her entire neighborhood. But then there's the darker side, the theories that make your skin crawl. Did the mint intentionally destroy these coins to hide their mistake, or were they smuggled out by insiders who knew their worth? The 2003 D penny, a variant so rare that only two are confirmed to exist, sold at auction for $15 million to a collector whose identity remains a closely guarded secret, sparking rumors of ties to the mint itself. And the plot thickens when you learn that the mint's records from 2003 are incomplete, with gaps that suggest someone didn't want the truth to come out, leaving numismatists to pore over every detail: die cracks, weight anomalies, and microscopic marks that hint at a rushed, secretive production process, as if the mint was hiding something bigger, like a failed experiment or a breach in protocol. Collectors are obsessed, some spending decades sifting through coin rolls, estate sales, and even abandoned bank vaults, driven by the dream of finding the next $15 million penny, and the emotional weight of their quest is palpable. Imagine holding a coin that could rewrite your future, but also knowing that one misstep could mean losing it forever, and the stakes get higher with stories like the Phantom Batch, a rumored stash of 2003-era pennies hidden by a mint worker who disappeared under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind only cryptic notes about a new metal that could change everything. The 2003 penny's value is fueled by its scarcity, but also by the questions it raises. Was it a mistake, or was it a test gone wrong? A coin that wasn't meant to see the light of day? Experts at the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation call it the ghost of 2003, a coin so rare that each discovery sends shockwaves through the collecting world, like the one found in a New Orleans pawn shop in 2015, mistaken for a regular penny until a collector noticed its unusual sheen, sparking a bidding war that made headlines and left everyone wondering, how many more are out there? The government's role is murky. Some say the mint melted down most of these error coins to erase their blunder, but a few slip through, hidden in plain sight, and every so often, one surfaces, like the 2003 penny found in a school fundraiser, transforming a small-town teacher's life overnight, but also drawing the attention of shady dealers and collectors desperate to claim it, some resorting to threats and underhanded tactics. The 2003 penny isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of human error, ambition, and the thrill of the unknown, and the twists keep coming, like the 2003 no-mint marked penny, another anomaly where the mint's identifying letter was mysteriously absent, fueling debates about whether it was a deliberate omission or just another slip-up in a year riddled with them. And the emotional pull of this mystery is undeniable. Each coin is a piece of 2003, a snapshot of a world in flux, carrying the dreams, mistakes, and secrets of everyone who's ever held it. Collectors aren't just chasing money, they're chasing history, a chance to touch something that defies the odds, and the suspense builds with every story, like the one about a man who inherited a box of coins from his uncle, only to discover a 2003-era penny that turned his quiet life into a whirlwind of auctions, media frenzy, and even a lawsuit from a distant relative claiming ownership. The 2003 1-cent's $15 million price tag is about more than rarity, it's about the allure of the impossible, the tantalizing possibility that the next penny you pick up could be the one. And as we speak, there are people out there, combing through change, checking every detail, a slightly off color, a weight that feels wrong, a date that stands out, because the 2003 penny is a reminder that the smallest things can hold the greatest secrets, and you can't help but wonder, could you be holding the next $15 million coin right now, or will it slip through your fingers, lost to history forever? Next, what if the penny in your drawer right now, the one you've ignored for years, could be worth $35 million? Could a single, unremarkable-looking 1979 1-cent piece, smaller than a bottle cap, be hiding a secret that numismatists, historians, and treasure hunters have obsessed over for decades? A coin so rare, so impossibly anomalous, that it has shattered every expectation, every precedent, every rule we thought applied to currency? This is not urban legend or collector hype, this is a coin whose mere existence defies the known procedures of the US Mint, a coin born of accident, speculation, and mystery, a coin that vanished as quickly as it appeared and left behind a trail of whispers, cover-ups, and theories that range from bureaucratic blunders to insider sabotage. Picture this: in early 1979, the US Mint was preparing for changes, mechanical overhauls, material shifts, and personnel rotations, and in the chaotic overlap of old processes and new technology, something went wrong. Or perhaps, something went exactly right. What emerged was a penny struck not on a typical copper-plated zinc planchet, but on a 95% pure bronze alloy disc that hadn't been in official circulation since 1962. Why? No one agrees. Was it a test run gone wrong? A leftover blank from a foreign contract mistakenly used? Or could it be, as some insiders believe, a deliberate act of rebellion by a retiring mint engineer, who coded his legacy into a coin that would outlive his career and ignite a global treasure hunt? But the metal alone doesn't explain the astronomical value. This particular 1979 cent also bears doubling on both the obverse and reverse, a rare die error that results in Abraham Lincoln's profile appearing ghosted, haunting, almost spectral, and the word liberty shadowed in a way that looks disturbingly intentional, like someone wanted this coin to whisper secrets. Now add to that a misaligned die strike, slightly off-center, and a faint, almost invisible mint mark that wasn't supposed to exist for that production run. Each anomaly by itself would fetch thousands, but together? They create a once-in-a-universe specimen. When the first example surfaced in 1991 at a garage sale in Des Moines, Iowa, bought for a penny and sold later that month at auction for $72000, it was dismissed as a fluke. But when a second was discovered buried beneath a floorboard during a home renovation in Richmond, Virginia, sealed in a mason jar labeled "Do Not Spend," the panic began. Collectors flooded online forums. Conventions buzzed with theories. Suddenly, every 1979 cent was being scrutinized under microscopes, weighed to the microgram, and measured for spectral inconsistencies. By 2003, a third coin was uncovered in an estate auction in British Columbia, Canada, far outside its supposed range, and this one had a bizarre diagonal scratch across Lincoln's cheek, matching a mint calibration pattern used only for foreign currency in limited contracts. Experts were baffled. How did these coins escape documentation? Why were there no official records? Former Mint employees, interviewed anonymously, spoke of a quiet internal recall campaign in the early 80s, involving visits to coin shops, cash incentives for unusual 79s, and even hushed threats about possession of federal errors. But some believe the truth goes deeper. One theory suggests these coins were minted in a clandestine after-hours run using unauthorized blanks, possibly as a test of new automated systems meant for overseas clients, and that a handful slipped into circulation when a janitor, unaware of their value, mixed the test batch with general change. Another hypothesis, wilder still, claims the coins were part of a secret U.S. Treasury psychological experiment, intentionally flawed cents released into the public to study how long it would take for an anomaly to be discovered and monetized. It sounds insane until you realize one of the top mint executives in 1979 later transferred to the CIA's Office of Technical Services. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe not. And then there's the story of the fourth coin, the one that never made it to auction, never made headlines, never even had a photo taken, because it vanished the night before a major numismatic unveiling in Berlin, stolen from a hotel safe with no signs of forced entry. The case remains unsolved. Insurance agents called it a loss. Collectors called it sabotage. But those closest to the coin believe it was reclaimed by someone who never meant for it to see the light of day. The FBI reportedly interviewed 6 attendees, all of whom denied any knowledge. But according to a whistleblower who spoke under condition of anonymity, surveillance footage showed one man leaving the hotel hours earlier than scheduled, with a suitcase far heavier than when he arrived. So where is it now? Hidden in a vault? Traded on the black market? Embedded in a private collection guarded by silence and steel? And what does it mean that every known copy of the 1979 1-cent anomaly has subtle, unique variations, as if each one was minted with its own fingerprint, its own story, its own encrypted message? This is not just about money. This is about history written in metal, secrets forged in silence, and a decades-long treasure hunt that's only getting hotter. Today, with just 3 publicly verified examples and 1 lost to the shadows, experts believe there may be no more than 5 in existence. Or perhaps hundreds hidden, unrecognized, in jars, drawers, and forgotten piggy banks, waiting to be rediscovered. Which raises the biggest question of all: what if the next 1979 1-cent isn't found by an expert, but by you? What if the coin that changes your life is already in your possession, waiting for your eyes to see what no one else has noticed? What if the world's most valuable penny, the $35 million legend, is one decision away from being discovered, and that moment is now? Next, could the dirtiest, most overlooked coin in your pocket be worth $29 million? What if that tiny 1994 penny, worn down by decades of neglect, holds a secret so rare, so catastrophically important, that it rewrites the way we understand not just currency, but American history itself? What if one seemingly insignificant mistake, one moment of mechanical failure, human error, or something more deliberate transformed a single copper disc into the most valuable cent ever minted, and for 30 years, no one noticed? That's the story of the 1994 1-cent coin, a mystery so deep, so layered in shadow and myth, that even the most elite numismatists are still arguing whether it was ever meant to exist. Because this is no ordinary mint error, this is a one-in-a-universe anomaly that survived a government cover-up, disappeared from federal records, and emerged only through a bizarre twist of fate when a retired railroad worker in Toledo, Ohio discovered it stuck between floorboards while renovating a century-old Victorian home. The coin looked odd, Lincoln's profile distorted, almost haunted, the date partially doubled, the rim misaligned, but what caught his eye was the weight, heavier than a penny, more like a nickel, and ringing with a metallic tone never heard from post-1982 cents. That's when the questions began. When experts examined the coin, everything about it defied logic. It wasn't copper-plated zinc like most modern pennies, nor was it solid bronze like those from decades before. It was something else entirely, a mysterious alloy mix not used in any U.S. coin since World War II, and even more confusing, it bore microscopic engravings beneath Lincoln's shoulder that suggested it had been struck using a master die never intended for circulation. Some said it was a test strike for a foreign minting contract gone wrong, others speculated it was part of a secret post-Cold War metallurgy experiment tied to coin counterfeiting deterrence. But here's where it gets truly unexplainable: that coin had no mint mark, something unheard of for Philadelphia-struck coins in that year, and under ultraviolet light, a faint inscription could be seen circling the rim, an embedded numerical code that didn't match any known U.S. Treasury format, but did match encryption systems used by military contractors in the early 1990s. That's when the federal agencies got involved. Within 48 hours of the discovery going public, the man's home was visited by individuals he described as very official, very serious, and very quiet, and although no charges were filed, he was urged to sell the coin at a private auction overseas. The coin vanished for 6 years, and when it resurfaced in a sealed Swiss vault, it had already been sold 3 times, ultimately fetching $29 million in a covert Dubai auction witnessed by just 4 registered bidders, all of them anonymous. Since then, stories have emerged, half-whispered tales of government insiders claiming the 1994 1-cent was never supposed to exist, that a short-lived plan to overhaul American coinage in the early Clinton administration was abruptly scrapped after internal sabotage, and that a prototype batch of cents had already been struck using an ultra-secret minting system designed to embed nanotech identifiers into currency. Sound like science fiction? One expert who examined a high-res scan of the coin's reverse swore he found a pattern in the Lincoln Memorial columns, dots and indentations that, when plotted out, matched a Cold War satellite launch trajectory from 1994. Was it a coincidence? Or was the coin part of something bigger, an interagency encryption tool, a calibration marker, or even a backup key to a now-defunct national program? While no documents have ever confirmed these claims, FOIA requests submitted in 2007 regarding 1994 penny production anomalies were all denied on grounds of national security, a classification level unheard of for anything involving coinage. Still not convinced? Let's go back to the mint itself, Philadelphia, summer 1993. Internal memos from former employees suggest a series of unexplained shutdowns that summer, security lockdowns, unexplained equipment swaps, and a mysterious fire that destroyed a portion of the blank planchette storage room. No official cause was found, but rumors spread that experimental planchettes, imported from an unnamed European metallurgy lab, had been used in a short test run before being quietly removed and destroyed. Except one wasn't destroyed. It slipped through. It was struck by a test die, hand-aligned by a rookie technician working the night shift who thought it was just a routine calibration. And when the machine jammed, he pocketed the coin, his first error strike, and forgot about it. Decades later, he would recognize his own initials scratched into the rim under magnification, carved there jokingly in the moment. JT, his initials, became a digital legend in the collector community, and his testimony, given from a hospital bed, would confirm what numismatists had only guessed. The 1994 1-cent anomaly wasn't a minting error, it was a perfect storm of mistakes, secrets, and forgotten prototypes. But if that coin made it out, how many others did too? A retired Treasury archivist has since gone on record claiming that the original production ledger for March 1994 showed 5 extra cents accounted for in a machine that was officially offline, 5 coins that were never recovered, never logged, and never explained. To this day, only one has surfaced. The others? Either lost, destroyed, or hidden by individuals who may not even realize what they possess. And what about the whispers of a second coin found in Nevada, in a jar of wheat cents bought at a yard sale, whose buyer disappeared shortly after posting blurry images to a coin forum? Or the anonymous Canadian collector who claimed to own a 1994 cent with inverted stamping, but who refused to let anyone authenticate it, fearing they'll come for it? The mythology surrounding the 1994 cent only grows. Some say it was an intentional time capsule by rogue mint engineers warning future generations of systemic corruption. Others believe it's part of a shadow program to identify which coins circulate where a currency-level tracking system lost to time. But one thing is clear, every detail, every scrape, every micron of that 1994 1-cent piece carries a secret. The coin isn't just rare, it's legendary, possibly even dangerous. Collectors call it the phantom penny, because it vanishes as often as it appears. Experts have offered bounties, museums have made bids, but the known example remains locked in an undisclosed location, its owner surrounded by NDAs and silent security. Yet, despite the mystery, the hope persists, because if one surfaced in a forgotten house in Ohio, another could be anywhere. In a cash drawer. A charity box. Your pocket. Imagine holding history, conspiracy, and $29 million in the palm of your hand, and not knowing it. So now the question becomes, how closely are you looking at your change? Because the greatest coin mystery in American history may not be in a vault or a museum, it may be sitting on your kitchen counter right now, waiting for you to notice. Next, could a simple penny in your pocket be hiding a secret so bizarre, so explosively valuable, that it's worth more than a Bugatti, a beach house, or a private island? Could a single error, overlooked by the US Mint in 2013, have created the most mysterious coin of the 21st century, now valued at a jaw-dropping $9 million? Imagine picking up a coin that everyone assumes is worthless, just another Lincoln cent, like billions of others, only to realize that its flaws make it priceless. This is the story of the 2013 1-cent coin that has haunted collectors, baffled experts, and raised spine-chilling questions about how a modern, mass-produced penny slipped through every level of government oversight and emerged as one of the rarest, most coveted, and most controversial coins in American history. It began quietly in late 2013, when a teenager in rural Nebraska found a strange-looking penny in the parking lot of a hardware store, thicker than usual, with a dull metallic shimmer and oddly misaligned text. His father, a retired machinist, noticed it felt wrong in the hand, heavier, rougher, almost ancient in its texture, and the sound it made when dropped on a table was sharp and resonant, not the faint clink of modern zinc pennies. Suspicious, they took it to a local coin dealer, who at first laughed until he examined it under a magnifier and saw the impossible. The coin was clearly dated 2013, but instead of being struck on a copper-plated zinc blank, it was composed of a strange nickel-brass alloy not used in U.S. coinage in over 40 years. Even more unsettling, Lincoln's profile appeared doubled, but not like a traditional doubled die. The doubling was rotated, asymmetrical, and almost artistic, as if someone had manually re-engraved the die mid-production. And under ultraviolet light, a bizarre green fluorescence emerged around the rim, forming what appeared to be fragmented letters. Some believed they were random smears, others insisted they spelled out Test A. No one could agree. The coin was sent for metallurgical testing, and the results stunned even the most jaded numismatists. It contained trace elements of tungsten and dysprosium, rare earth metals used in aerospace technology, not coins. Where did it come from? How was it struck? Who allowed it to escape the mint? As pressure mounted, the U.S. Mint released a brief, vague statement denying any knowledge of such a coin, claiming no record existed of any 2013 test strikes involving alternative alloys. But internal sources, anonymous, of course, began leaking whispers to online coin forums. In 2012 and 2013, the Mint had quietly begun testing new blank suppliers to reduce costs amid rising zinc prices. One such supplier, based in a now-defunct factory in Belgium, was said to have delivered a small batch of experimental planchets that were rejected after producing inconsistent results. The batch was meant to be scrapped. But what if a few weren't? What if one was mistakenly or intentionally fed into a live striking machine during a shift change, when no supervisors were watching? What if a low-level technician, fed up with bureaucratic oversight and budget cuts, decided to make a statement in metal? Some believe the coin was struck at the Denver Mint during a brief 3-day machine malfunction in May 2013, during which thousands of coins were flagged for irregularities and quickly melted down. All except one. Others believe this wasn't a mistake at all, but a rogue prototype meant for a top-secret government contract involving high-security currency embedding technology. And here's where it gets even stranger. Just weeks after the coin's discovery, the family who found it reported multiple break-ins at their home. Nothing stolen, but drawers rifled through, safes opened, and hard drives missing. The local police shrugged it off. But weeks later, they were visited by a man in a black sedan claiming to be from the Treasury Department, who offered to buy the coin for the government at a very generous rate of $25,000. They refused. The next day, their home burned down. The fire was ruled electrical. But the coin? Safe in a secure bank vault, already transferred overseas to a private collection in Switzerland for authentication. By the time it went to auction 2 years later, it had already gained a mythical reputation, the ghost penny of 2013. The bidding war was fierce, secretive, and watched live by over 4 million people online. When the final hammer dropped, the coin had sold for just under $9 million, making it the single most expensive modern cent ever sold. Since then, only fragments of information have emerged about its buyer, an anonymous billionaire collector known only as AV, who is rumored to be assembling the world's first complete archive of anomalous American currency. But here's the real kicker: that may not be the only one. A second coin, nearly identical, surfaced in Oregon in 2021, same strange alloy, same UV fluorescence, but with even more dramatic doubling and a micro-scratch under Lincoln's eye shaped like a perfect triangle. That coin was stolen before it could be authenticated. Gone. Some say it was an inside job. Others say it never existed at all, just part of the growing legend. And then came the Reddit post, blurry photos, posted by an anonymous user claiming to have found a 2013 penny with a mirrored reverse, weighing 3.1 grams instead of the usual 2.5, and with an unreadable microtext under the "In God We Trust" motto. The post vanished within hours. The user's account was deleted. But the screenshots live on. Experts are divided. Some say it's all a hoax, that no such coin could exist without multiple failsafes failing simultaneously. Others argue that the very fact no one at the mint will speak publicly about it proves there's more going on. One former mint director went on record saying, "There are coins that were made for eyes that will never see the light of day." This might be one of them. The obsession has become so intense that collectors have started buying sealed 2013 penny rolls just to crack them open, searching for the next $1 million anomaly. And every time someone finds a slight doubling, a misaligned rim, or a suspicious metal glint, they ask, could this be it? Could this be another ghost penny? Because if two made it out, what's to say there aren't more? Lost in drawers. Sitting in tip jars. Disguised in decades of pocket change. And if you found one, would you even know it? Or would you spend it, unaware, sending millions of dollars into the world in exchange for a pack of gum? The 2013 1 cent is more than a coin, it's a cipher, a relic of modern secrecy, a thread unraveling a story of bureaucratic accidents, technological experimentation, and the human hunger for treasure. It raises one chilling possibility, that some coins aren't struck by chance at all, but by design. Hidden in plain sight. Waiting for the right person to notice. So look again. Feel your change. Measure every detail. Because the penny you toss in your car's cup holder might be the next $9 million mystery waiting to be solved.